one of you needs to tell me if the picture's not moving.
Yeah.
I just need a test. Okay, there we go. Okay.
What a
So.
Oh, wow.
Thanks, Uncle.
Wow.
Ooh,
Hey.
Yeah, the
slideshow.
speech wins.
Okay.
Speech one.
It all started when my mom met my dad and had an arranged marriage, moved to America, and had me. Hi, I'm Kirthana, and my life, it's kind of crazy. I was born on October 4th, 2004 in Overland Park, Kansas. I didn't spend a lot of time in Kansas, and my life there, like most things that happened in Kansas, was pretty irrelevant. We moved to Los Angeles, California, and this is where I started school. I started at a daycare because I was always with my mom and I needed a little bit of separation. I hated this school. When I say hate, I mean hate. I would stand at the window every single day and sob, like hardcore sob all day until I saw my parents come back. It was pretty bad. But after I turned about 3, I went to a church school, which is where I started preschool. And I loved it there. I think I just always had a thing with church schools, but I really enjoyed it. And I made a lot of friends, and I was enjoying my time there. But we didn't stay in Los Angeles for long. And before I knew it, we had moved to Ohio. That's just another picture of me. This is where I started preschool when I was 4. I went to a school called Royalmont Academy, and it's not as preppy as it sounds, I promise. It was a private Christian school, and I went there because my age is younger than the cutoff date, and they didn't care because I was 4 days off the cutoff date, and public schools were like, no, we don't want her because she's 4 days off the cutoff date, so I went here. This is where I made a lot of friends, and it was a really small, tight-knit school, so everybody knew everybody. You knew everyone's parents, you knew their siblings. There were maybe 30 people in a grade. This is how small the school was. I loved Ohio. I loved playing in the snow. I loved the city, but this is mostly where I have my first memories, being old enough to remember things. I made a lot of friends really quickly, being involved in a lot of different things like dance, swimming, tennis, and tennis was my main focus because as far as I was concerned, I was amazing at tennis, being a 4-year-old. I thought I was the best ever, and I thought I was going to be the next Serena Williams because, you know, being like 6, that's what you think. You think that you are going to be the best, like, in the entire world, and that's it. I became to grow really close with my friends at school. We were this really, really tight-knit group, like I said. We were usually split into 2 classes, but there were a total of maybe about 10 girls in the grade, so we all became best friends really, really quickly. And this is some of my friends there. And this is the time in my life where I met the 3 most influential people in my life. This is Aishwarya, and she now lives in New York, and she was the first person I really, really, really became close with in Ohio. And I also met, through Aishwarya, I met 2 other girls named Srinidhi and Yashu. Now, me and Srinidhi did not get off on the right foot at all. We hated each other. We were complete enemies, and I wanted nothing to do with her. Her little sister, Yashu, on the other hand, I loved the first time I met her. She was so cute and so small, and she was perfect. I wanted to be her older sister. This is when after 2nd grade, my parents decided to move me back into a public school. And this is because private school, it's expensive, and once you get to 3rd grade, they don't care about your age anymore. So it was okay for me to go to school there. Now, public school is a lot different from my really, really small private school because it was a completely new experience for me because there were so many new people I didn't know. But luckily, I was able to make friends, and I had a good year, but it was nothing like my old school, so we decided to go back. This is when I really had a good time in 4th and 5th grade, getting into school, and I thought that I would stay at that school until I graduated high school, but that wasn't the case. My family, or my dad, who worked at one company for about more than 5 years, decided that he wanted to try and find a new opportunity, and that opportunity was in Florida. Now, when we were driving to Florida to take my dad to go see his new job and where he could potentially live, my parents made the life-altering decision that we were going to move to India. Now, being in America for your entire life and only visiting India for a short amount of time, I hated this idea. I sobbed in the car for the rest of the time we were there, and I wanted nothing to do with moving to India. I did not want to leave my friends. I did not want to leave this country. I was not having it. I did not want to leave. Until my parents came up with a bribe to get me to move. They got me my first dog. Now, this was the only thing that got me to get on that plane to India. This is my dog, Buddy. Sadly, he's no longer with us, but he really made my time in India a lot more fun. I had gone to school in India, and I became the popular girl because I was from America. I had the American accent, and I was that girl at school who was like, you can sit with me if you want. Like, you really did not want to mess with me in 6th grade because I thought I was the coolest person at that school just because I was from America, and everybody thought the same. But our time in India was also really short. My dad was having trouble finding a job, and I, no matter how much fun it seemed like I was having, still really missed home. I moved back to Dallas, and this is conveniently where my 2 best friends were also. And it was really easy for me to make friends being in tennis again. I started up tennis and went to a public school again, and this time really enjoyed it. So this is where my life is now. And I'm really enjoying myself, and I'm excited to see where the rest of high school will take me.